Thank you. I thought about that when I first went into the Zoom room, but that was half an hour ago. So it only takes 1 minute to leave my brain. We have the delight, Michelle Taylor is going to give an opening treatment, and she's going to do all 5 steps. We could make her do 7. We could in Swahili.
Nina Kambuka,
Okay, lay it on us.
me, way, Nina Kambuka, me nani, way, that's all I got.
Well done.
Hey, it's easier to learn when you put a little tune behind it, right? And then we're just going to go right into Karen leading a meditation. So as soon as the treatment's done, Karen will come in and do the meditation. So we'll just stay in that quiet, centered space. Take it away, ladies.
Okay. How long do you want the meditation? Does she know?
Yeah.
Did you change it?
7 to 8 minutes, because we've got extra today.
Okay. And so we just center into this time and space, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is the all in all. There is nothing else. It is the very center, the very core, the very source of everything in the entire universe. It is peace and unconditional love, wisdom and possibility. There are so many names for God, for each and every person here in this time is also a name for God. For God is who we are, and all that we can ever be. And so I simply claim for this time together that we are in sacred space. There's a time of coming together in community, of coming together in connection. Even though we may be miles and miles apart, we are still one, still connected at the heart, at the core, at the essence of who we are. And so we open up to this message today, knowing that as we do this, as we surrender and listen, we're hearing the voice of God. This is a time for us to come together to remember that we are the presence of God here and now, and in every moment of our lives. This is a reminder as we go forward into our lives to remember to be that love and possibility, that wisdom, that wholeness. I'm so very grateful for this time together, for this message, for this music, for this moment. And I release this word into the law, knowing it is already done here and now, because it's done in God, and that is what this is, and so it is.
So it is.
And we take a deep breath into that silence, where we've started turning inward into the very depth of our being, into our very heart center. And in that heart center, I feel a spark of life, creativity, vitality. And as that spark grows, I'm infused with warmth. For I know that this spark of the divine is the very substance of my being. And I watch as it moves through every vein, every organ, every structure, every cell. Spirit, eternal life, divine love, the infinite connection. And right here and right now, breathe again. And settle into your own personal connection with that spark, that identity. Knowing this is who you really are. And we breathe again. Feeling that warmth fill every part of our own personal body. And yet, there's more. In the next breath, we allow that feeling of expansion to reach out. To know that this truth of the spark, the divine internalness, this personalization of the divinity reaches out so that each one of us individualized expand and acknowledge the person sitting next to us. And we acknowledge their connection with the divine. And as we breathe again, we can feel that expansion going throughout our home, throughout our neighborhood, each part of the city, And we allow this sense of oneness, this connectivity, this acknowledgement of divinity to stretch throughout our country. For it brings vitality, peace, abundance. The very substance of God is all there is. And we feel that expansion. And it reaches across oceans and around the world. It fills the bustling cities, the expansion of the desert and grasslands, touching every living being. It stretches into the cold of the Arctic regions, the depth of the oceans, the power of the volcanoes. And we sit here in awe and wonder as we follow that extension through the paths of the universe, the orbits and the stars. For we have opened our heart to the awareness that God is all there is. There is only one. Infinite, without boundaries. Each atom and molecule playing together. Dancing the universal dance, singing in the heavenly choirs. And we bring that awareness back down into our own heart, celebrating, knowing that the connection is real, the community is powerful. And here we are all together. The divine, playing with the divine, the face of God, acknowledging the face of God. How fun. For our hearts are filled now with joy. And so it is. When you're ready, open your eyes.
Wow.
And look at all these beautiful faces.
I know. Thank you, Karen. Oof. It's hard to come back sometimes. Ooh. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah, our joy-filled hearts. Let's sing with those joy-filled hearts. I will. Come on, can you see that? Why won't it advance? Sorry. How come it works when I try it out before you come on, but now I can't? There it is. There we go. We know this song anyways. Come join me. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are a part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. Unmute and sing. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one
As one
spirit
spirit
right
shall
within
rise
us all. We are a part of one
to
another, born to love each other, and when all
It's all said and done.
are
We are
one. When it's
one.
all said and
That's
done, we
We
are
are one.
are one.
gotta do the spirit fingers. So I heard some voices that I've been hearing all week because we've had some practices with our Kenyan community singers. So the best is yet to come, and I'll just leave it at that. So when I was thinking about today and wondering what I'd talk about, I happened to see this, I guess you call it a meme. To me, it's a cartoon. And it said, we all have something within us that the world needs. And I got thinking about that. And then it made me think about gifts. When we have Christmas coming up, we are always thinking about maybe getting some little something for somebody, or, you know, you want to give a little present for the kids. And it's a part of our preparation for sure. But what about our gifts that are within us? So that really made me start to think about just gifts, period. And I went on to Mr. Google and I went to find out where this custom of giving gifts started. Well, the Christians, of course, go back to the gifts that were given to the Christ child. But it even went back further. If you can imagine, it's the caveman. It went back to the caveman. It was, if you accomplished something great, you were given a gift. It was probably a piece of dinosaur or something that you could eat, but you know, nonetheless, it was a gift. And then I started thinking about, you know, we give. Why do we give? We give because it brings joy, because there's love and affection for that person. We found something that it reminds us of somebody, and it's just, we just have to give it to them to know that we know them and we have that connection. And then commercialism, because we have to buy. And it got thinking of me about even more about giving things in with that person in mind, with their personality, with their interests. You know, some of the simplest of things can really acknowledge somebody's connection. It could be as simple as, you know, a simple flower that you've picked on the walk home. It could mean some baking that you did, that you shared, some biscuits that you made or something that's special, and you shared with them because you know they love sweets. Gifts can mean so many different things. And I'd like to believe that we all give anything with that meaning behind it, that we are giving in the most clear, clean state of mind, not out of obligation. But then I got thinking about the three gifts that were brought to the Christ child. So the three wise men brought the three gifts. They saw the star, they were guided by this light, and they each carried something different. One had gold, one had incense, one had myrrh. We all know the story. What I didn't know, and I think I might have known, but I forgot about it, which is quite common with me, is that the gold represented the kingship of the Christ child. The incense was the God or the deity of him. And the myrrh represented his man, the man level of him. You know, and myrrh is even involved with around death. So there was even some beliefs that it was a foreboding of his death. So it all had significance, of course. And it is also a reflection of the threefold nature of the universe and of man. Everything that we've learned in science of mind, right? So 3 gifts, 3 men, threefold nature. And the number 3 symbolizes divine wholeness and perfection. I love finding these little tidbits out and discovering the metaphysical meaning behind things. When then I started thinking about another version of gifts. And Reverend Connie was teaching a course called Sacred Gifts when I first joined in on classes in this community. And Sacred Gifts is a program or a class, and their definition of it is the sacred gifts are unexplained abilities that we have from birth to death that allow us to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. So it's stamped on your soul. It's something that you bring to you in this incarnation of your life. Some of the 24 gifts that this program teaches is craftsmanship, extraordinary trust, giving, healing, assistance, hospitality, knowledge, leadership, music, facilitation, service, wisdom, writing. So with the course, you learn what each one's mean. So like some things would not mean, like I read the word administration and I just go, not me. But thank goodness there's other people that have that as a sacred gift because they do it amazingly well. And that's the thing that I really believe that Reverend Connie had this special gift for. We talk about it all the time, Reverend Barb and I, for sure, about how Connie could zero in and she was aware of these sacred gifts in each person. And then she tapped into those gifts and brought them forward so that that person could excel and we could experience the receiving of the gifts and the benefits of them. It's a great thing to know about ourselves. And within this course, it says the people who offer this course give it to it as a freeing. Can you imagine? Now you know what your sacred gifts are, and you'll have more than one necessarily, but you'll have one that's quite dominant. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, because you were in on that course too. But you've got a few gifts, and you might have a smattering of a few more, but they're really more on the back burner. But there's a couple that are dominant, one for sure. And so when you have that, and you know that, and you can express that, it frees you. It's a sense of freedom to understand your sacred gifts. And doesn't that make sense? This is your soul level calling you to step into that gift. And once you're aligning with this gift, you are expressing your purpose in life. And it becomes clearer and clearer as you move into this more fulfilled way of living. So imagine with me, you're about to enter this earthly realm and you're standing there with your soul purpose fully aligned and your path that you are going to be leading as you enter this world we call Earth and this life we call man level. And you're standing there and you are knowing that you're going to be entering into this world and you have this purpose all laid out. You're fully aware of it. But in order to fulfill that purpose, you're handed these gifts of sacredness, sacred gifts that only you, as that unique individualization of God, can have and possess. You'll know, and as you're sitting there, I'm sure you're thinking, I wonder what mine is. I wonder what mine is. And then you get thinking, well, she mentioned leadership. Yeah, yeah, that's okay for me. That's okay for me. But then she mentioned wisdom. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I like wisdom. I like learning things. But then I mentioned writing. Ah, that's it. That's it. I love to write. I can't breathe. It's like breathing. I need to write. I need to express myself through my writing material. Patrick, you can probably pick up on that because your writing is a blessing and you've gifted it to so many people. And it's like a lifeline. So here you are, ready to enter into this world. And you have these extra tools, these tools that you are uniquely here to express. And as you go through this life on this life purpose, these things are emanating off of you, your abilities, and you're doing these ordinary things extraordinarily. Look at Reverend Barb. Music is her sacred gift, in my opinion. She expresses herself solely through music in all ways, in multiple ways. And it's her livelihood. And thank God she stepped into that because this is her extraordinary life. And yes, your voice will be restored fully, beautifully. So here we are, expressing our sacred gifts. And if I go back to that saying that I saw in this meme, we all have something special within us that the world needs. So at this time of Christmas, when we feel we have nothing to give, that we have nothing to offer, know that as you express yourself authentically and fully and truthfully, tapping in to your sacred gifts, know that you have more than enough to give. Ernest Holmes says, life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. And that includes your sacred gifts, your gifts of your unique self. Each of you is my gift, and I receive you as the blessing in my life. Namaste. And I am so pleased to hear this because gift giving stresses me out. So I was more than happy to share my sacred gift, which is probably has something to do with my new Kenyan name, Nyakena, expressing the joy that bubbles up in me. It's not on this sacred gift list, but I'll own it. Come sing with me. This is a new song. It's by Daniel Namod, and I'm sure Nancy knows it. She's very familiar with Daniel, and it's a soul song. And you're in the right place at the right time, expressing your gifts, your sacred gifts. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear that my soul is welcome here. You're in the right place at the right time. You're just where you're supposed to be. You're in the right place at the right time. You're just where you're supposed to be. Oh, your soul is welcome here. Oh, your soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear that my soul is welcome here. I like that song. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll get it translated so we can use it another time. Yay. So, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce Philip Asamba, who is going to enlighten us with his wisdom and bestow us with what his words Drum roll, please. Drrrr. He's bashful, but he's gonna give us his gifts. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Reverend Gwen, for the opportunity. It's always, it feels good to know that people are seated listening to you. So yeah, this being the second last Froggy Friday of the year, it is that time of the year that most of us, if not all of us, take stock of what has been happening in the past year. And we look at our growth or lack of it. And yeah, we look forward with zeal for the coming year, and we make resolutions, and we make new intentions, because a new year starts with fresh intentions. And most of us have made the declaration that this is my year. So yeah, but speaking from 3 decades worth of experience, resolutions only work for 15 to 10 days into the year. And then we go back to factory settings. So yeah, I wanted just to remind you that you are one with God, and within you is a divine power. All of God is within you. Every drop of God is within each and every one of us. And we are supposed to say that our wish is our command. It is not the universe's command, it is our command, because whatever we say must come to pass. We must manifest our desires, because the Spirit of God manifests through and as us every time, in form of our intentions and in form of our declarations, because those ideas that we find in our hearts, in our minds, all the goals that we feel we called to do are the gifts that Gwen is talking about. Doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way. Well, don't get me wrong, God can do it by itself, but it's fun to be a co-creator with God. It is fun to experience each and every moment as we create, as we go through the journey of learning about ourselves, the journey of knowing and remembering who we truly are, because we are in this reality, in this physical form, in order for us to taste coffee and smell and know the smell of a rose, because spirit in itself would not know the smell of a rose. So we can create our realities for the next year. All our intentions and all our declarations can come to pass if we believe. And we know we're in this teaching, and we have learned the creative process. We have learned how to be co-creators. We have learned how to plant the seed and protect it with all our might. And so God has given us all the ideas that we can conceive of. Neville Goddard says creation is finished and creation is complete. All the ideas that we have are already in existence, and we have the power to mold it and the power to shape according to our own, the way we see it in our minds. And this reminds me of a story of the preacher and the farmer. I don't know if most of you have heard of it, but there was this successful farmer who had a very beautiful and lush garden. He had made all the rows that were perfect, and the farm was weed free, and he was busy working on the farm. And so the preacher, while driving across the farm, saw the farm and was really impressed by the work that the farmer was doing. And he had the urge to stop and congratulate the farmer and tell him he's doing such a wonderful job. So when he parked the car and went to the fence, to the edge of the farm, when the farmer saw the preacher approaching, he also started making his way to the fence so that they can have the conversation. So the first thing the preacher said was, God has really blessed you with a lush farm, with a beautiful farm. And the farmer just looked at him and wiped the sweat from his forehead. And he said, yes, I am truly blessed, but you could have seen the farm when God had it all by himself. And so we have the power to create our life and our world in whichever way we want, in whichever way we desire, because all the ideas come from the only one source. And we are reminded that before you call, it will answer. Before you make a declaration, there is always a way for you to fulfill and get to realize your dreams, and all your aspirations for the new year. And of course, for each and every moment that comes after that. So before we wait for the year to end, or the year to come to an end, before taking stock and starting to make new resolutions, each and every moment is a moment to start. You can start anytime, we can start wherever, because God is always talking. God is always speaking. We only receive when we listen, when you tune in. I like to say, if you don't go within, you go without. That is one of my sayings. And yeah, when we understand that, or when we look back and take stock and realize that we've lived the same year 10 times, then we feel like, yes, it is time to make a change. And that is when I say, in my opinion, that the student is ready. And now the teacher will appear. And when the teacher appears, we will stop complaining and we'll start acting. We'll stop blaming and take responsibility for our own lives, because it is not our fault that our life is the way it is, but it is our responsibility to change it. If we do not like it, we just have to make new intentions and choose the road that we feel will take us to where we want to be. We become obsessed with getting wiser. We become obsessed with getting stronger and better, and using treatment, meditation as our tools that we've learned in class. We are sure to plant the seeds. We are sure to start making that call, or meeting that person, or starting that podcast, or starting that business, registering it. And we'll believe in ourselves, and fear will go away, because we will understand that it is God meeting God, and it is man meeting man. And the concept of separation will just disappear as we continue growing and planting seeds. Of course, some seeds will fall on the wayside, and they will be eaten by the birds. And this means that some of the seeds that we plant, because every seed that we plant is a perfect seed. It is not the fault of the seed that it gets eaten. Our seeds, our ideas come from the divine. And when we plant, some of our seeds will fall on the shallow soil. And once we start implementing our plans, we start implementing our ideas, we might face difficulty in this reality. But that, to me, is a test of faith. It's a test of character. And what do? We continue planting the seeds. We continue knowing the truth. We continue using the law of Goya, not just saying things and sitting. The law of Goya, to those who don't know, means the law of getting off your ass. That is the law of Goya. So we continue, and in due season, the seeds will fall on fertile ground. Some seeds will give 30-fold, some seeds 60, some seeds even 100. And whatever we get from those seeds, we don't sit there and ask, why is this giving us or returning 30 while this one is returning 100? We become grateful because we know whatever we planted it's our time now to reap what we have sowed all that time. And when it gets harder, I love asking myself the question, who in the heaven do you think you are? And the answer is, I am so and so. And when I say I am, I know that is a declaration that God is in me, God is within me. And I have all the tools and all the power that I need, that I can think of, in order for me to get out of the pickle that I am in. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with a quote from Al Nightingale. He says, do not put off your dreams because of the time it will take to achieve them, because the time will pass anyway. Thank you and namaste.
Yay! Preach, Philip, preach. Well done, well done. Anybody have any questions or any comments about this morning? My goodness, very rich, very rich. Unmute yourselves, ask away. And while you're thinking about it, if anybody needs prayer, put your hand up and we'll get you into a prayer room. We have Agnes and Kareth, Alfred that can go in with you. No comments. No. Oh, everybody's quiet today. Are you ruminating over that? Thank you, Philip. That was brilliant.
It can't go without me commenting.
Okay.
I loved
Let's
it.
do it.
I loved it. And what I needed to say is just a comment. I never thought about it myself, but it just came across my mind when he was talking about the seeds that got eaten by the birds. Well, at least the birds had something to eat. There you are. It was for the birds to eat.
It benefited them too, didn't it?
Well, the birds are our relatives or our plumbers who talk us out of doing something. When you want to invest in crypto and then you ask your plumber, the plumber will be like, I don't trust those things. And then the bird will eat your idea.
So when I was driving back to Lamac's house with Lamac, there was a field that had just been planted. And there was these birds. They were huge. They were really, really tall. And they were out there eating them. And they come from mostly from Tanzania, I think. And I don't remember the name of them, but that poor farmer was not going to have many ideas sprouting in the next few weeks because those birds were huge and they were very intent on eating up those seeds. So he was, I know he would have been lost most of his crop, but maybe he had some stinking thinking going on, hey? Okay, I'm going to try and pull this up. We've got some special announcements. Michelle, take it away.
Okay, so we wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up because we're going to be starting classes very quickly in January. And you need to decide soon so that we can have Nancy get books and things ready and materials because of the holiday. So the second week of January, you have a choice. It's not metaphysical, it's metaphorical. It's the metaphorical Bible with Reverend Claire and Reverend Myrna. And then treatment, science of mind treatment, and that's with Reverend Gwen. And then on Saturday is Roots, and that's with Karen and myself. So if you are considering practitioner training, the treatment class and the Roots class are a requirement. We also are excited to announce that starting in January, we will have a men's circle on Friday and a women's circle on Mondays. So
That's a Nairobi men's circle.
yes, a Nairobi men's circle. And that's led by Christopher and Philip.
And are those all on Zoom?
It's all on Zoom at this point.
Okay.
I noticed that January 15th is a Sunday. Is it the Sunday or the 14th, the Saturday?
It would be the 14th, but I am calendar challenged. So thank you for pointing that out. Whatever it is, it's a Saturday because Sunday is already taken with Prac 2. But we'll get more information out. So think about it. Start planning your time. And there you go.
One more.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. That's a beautiful picture, actually.
This is Michelle's Christmas present. This is her gift to her.
Yes. Yes, because Tizay is something that Karen and I have done in the Vegas church. We did it for years and it's so powerful. And I have been wanting for about 1.5 years to bring our version of a Tizay service with Kenyan singers to Kenya. And so it's actually being presented by our Kenyan community. So Karen and I have a very small speaking part, and the rest will be spoken by our community. And we have our very own singers who've been practicing, and it will even be partly in Swahili. So I'm so excited.
It's called Translation on the Go,
Yeah.
on the fly. So we're not going to tell you who those singers are. You got to show up and you got to find out who they are. So invite your family, invite your neighbors, come on in and enjoy this beautiful entrance into the Christmas season. The 23rd is the perfect time. We've had the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere by that time. And then we can go into the Christmas season with this really beautiful, sacred, inner meditative service. It's a beautiful experience. We have done them before, and now we get to experience just a little different flavor, which is Michelle and Karen's.
Make sure you invite all of your friends and family.
Yes, yes. Invite others. It's neutral.
Yes, it is neutral. And it's going to be very moving, and you're going to be so proud of the work that everybody did to put this all on. So, yay! Lots happening. How's everybody feeling? Anybody have any questions now? When Philip was talking, all I could think of was that book written by Reverend Pat Campbell, and it's Giving God a Good Time. Not just the farmer, but giving God a good time. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're doing. Okay. Anybody need treatment today? We have these beautiful practitioners who are ready to serve their spiritual selves. Hi, Fred. I didn't see you there. And Hezekiah. Kareth, you joined in. Hi, Lucia. We've got the twins here in Duke's Square. Well, I said that because you both moved at the same time and then came back. So you're in sync. Kareth. Kareth, speak. Unmute.
Yeah, I don't know why my iPad does that, because I don't know, it is automatic, because when I go this side, it can just focus on James. Then when I come back, it looks for me. So I don't know. Don't know what's happening.
That's really cool. That's a good thing, because there was a time when we just would see James, and every once in a while you'd poke your head in. God wants you included, Duke.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. I don't see any hands up for prayer. So thank you for being here. It's been a joy and a pleasure to spend this time with you as always. Reverend Barb will be back to her radiant self. And actually the next Froggy Friday is the Taizé service. So please come and be filled. Be filled. All right, everyone.
Appreciate you.
Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Have a super sleep, restful, restorative sleep, and whoever else is in their daytime, go forth and shine your light.
Stop.
Bye for now.
Hey.